Ranking okay, I need to learn how to pronounce statistically. Ranking statistically the best Yu-Gi-Oh rival.
So after making a video on Statistically, who was the best main character out of the Yu-Gi-Oh anime series, people were asking, can you make a sequel to this on the rivals? And I thought, yes, let's give it a go. From the comments of the last video,
I feel like the rivals have like way less duels than the protagonists, right? So this should be very different.
A couple of people made some very good points, and I think this should be considered. So first of all, these results are not indicative of if you put all these characters in a room together and they dueled, you definitely wouldn't get the results we're going to get today, or maybe you would. Who knows? One of the questions I asked in the last video was if people felt that the way that I'm judging these characters' stats was fair and a correct way to indicate their level of skill in the duel.
Well, obviously, right? There is no correct way of doing it. There will always be problems with this. So yeah, I don't blame obviously BGS anime. Like, I don't know if it's questionable, but like, what else are you gonna do?
Monster series, and for the most part people said that tallying up the wins, losses, the draws, it's interesting. It does show definitely a dimension of a duelist's strength, but I think one of the commenters made a really good point, and the fact is not all duels are created equal, and I do think that's fair to a degree. If you have a character like we're going to see in today's video that has 100 perhaps off-screen duels against just fodder enemies, no-name people.
That's exactly what I was saying. It makes no sense to count duels against unnamed known characters.
Does that carry the same weight as somebody that defeated Zark in a duel? Someone that defeated Pharaoh Atem? Should they be worth the same? Should one Pharaoh Atem be worth 100 duelists? Unfortunately, there's no way to really quantify that.
Exactly.
So unfortunately,
the Elo thing cannot be done, right? There is no way to make this a perfect ranking for this. Hello, Hector. We're watching some videos today.
I won't be able to incorporate that into this video. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to do what I did last time. I'm going to do it in terms of just how many times they dueled in the series, if they mentioned that they had 30 off-screen duels against no-names, if there was a picture of something with duels that they said they dueled this many times. We're going to include all that. Again, I'm getting all this information off of the Yu-Gi-Oh Wikia pages, so I might not be 100% accurate. And again, please don't be that one guy that just because I said your main character wasn't the best main character, you go off on a rant.
Okay, I assumed there were gonna be comments like that, and yeah, obviously. My only problem with these videos was that he counts flashback duels when we don't know how many duels a character played when they were kids. Yeah, exactly. It's only like on screen, statistically, on screen, who got the best results, not necessarily who's the best, right? I know what this video really is about. It's just something interesting to think about during the stats during the anime that they are from, yeah.
So first things first, who are our contenders on today's video? Well, first up we have Seto Kaiba for Duel Monsters, yeah. Pretty standard. For Yu-Gi-Oh GX, it immediately gets a little bit complicated because Yu-Gi-Oh GX kind of had this new rival every season. We had Chaz Princeton, like the first season, then we had Zane, then we had Jesse. It's a little bit up in the air. Even Aster Phoenix to
I feel like Aster is more of a rival than Jesse, but sure.
Could be considered a rival. However, from the polling that I did on my community tab, I'm gonna go with Chaz Princeton as the main.
I feel like Chaz makes more sense. I don't know why Konami is releasing. It's like considering Zane the main rival. He was only a rival during the first season. Like Bastion probably was more of a rival than Zane. I don't know how else to put it. But Chaz is the one that has consistently been a rival, even if he was not the most threatening. I don't know how else to put it, right? We're gonna get to the more suggestions later. Don't worry.
Main rival, he had quite a lot of duels against Jaden, and although I do think Zane is a fantastic rival, he didn't have too many duels against him.
That is also true. Zane doesn't duel as much as Chaz.
I've got a little bit extra for people at the end of the video for if you're a Zane fan, don't worry.
Oh,
for
wow.
Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, of course, we have the king himself, Jack Atlas. For Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal, this was another toss-up for me. I didn't know whether to do Reginald Castle or Kite Tenjo. However, after doing another poll online, people seem to think that it should go to Reginald Castle.
What?
As being the main rival to Yuma. Kite Tenjo, I agree, was a fantastic rival, but he never got a final duel against Yuma. If we do go by the last duel he had against Yuma, I don't think Yuma's ever beat Kite Tenjo. So I think Reginald Castle is a much better one to go as an antagonist. But Kite fans out there, don't worry, I've got a little bit of a bonus at you at the end.
That's so... He was the first duel, also one of the final duels. Honestly, Shark and Kai should count. I always, like, I've never watched this anime, but I always assumed Kite was the main rival, right? Kite never lost to Yuma. Yeah, no, I know, but that doesn't make him more or less of a rival. I don't know. Shark never got a final duel with Yuma either. Nash got one.
For Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5, we have Declan Akaba, and for Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains, we have Ryoken Kogami, aka Revolver. Alright then.
Wait, what? Okay.
Let's start, shall we? So first up, we have Kaiba from Duel Monsters.
This is it, Yugi. It's over.
Kaiba only played 28 duels throughout the entire Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters series.
That's a lot, honestly. I expected way less. 28? What?
And a couple people actually did mention this. The Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters series, a typical duel, because they are much slower paced, would last like 5 to 6 episodes. So it makes sense as to why Yugi and Kaiba have so few duels within their respective series. And the fact that they weren't the only main characters. We had people like Joey, everybody else in the series as well, that had a little bit of extra screen time, unlike some other characters in other series. So it's fair to say the Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters characters got shafted a little bit in terms of duels, but that's a good excuse to why they have so few duels, and I thought, yeah, that makes sense. So out of those 28 duels, Kaiba had 20 wins, 5 losses, 1 draw, and 2 DNFs.
Kaiba has 5 losses? Like, I try to think right now, and he lost to... Yugi? And Pegasus, right? Okay.
I imagine you guys want to know what those Kaiba losses were. Well, we'll quickly go through them. He lost against Yugimoto. He lost against Pegasus. He lost against Yugimoto again. He lost against Noah Kaiba. However, this was because Noah was using Mokuba as a meat shield. So
That doesn't count.
again, if we're going by what I said in my last video, if somebody lost a duel, technically they've lost. Even if there's this other extreme factors going on outside of it, it still counts as a loss. So if Kaiba got the win against Yugi because Kaiba said he was going to throw himself off the side of a cliff if Yugi didn't lose, then unfortunately Noah gets the win because Kaiba refused to attack Mokuba and kill his younger brother. That's only fair. Kaiba's 5th loss was actually to a virtual version of Yami Yugi in the Pyramid of Light video. I decided to include this because he lost to a virtual version of Yami Yugi, so yeah, I know he's not a real person, but that should still count.
He still lost.
To a virtual version,
That
which
counts.
is probably inferior to the real one. So, gutted, man, unfortunate. And one little stipulation about a win that Kaiba had. Kaiba tends to play quite a lot of tag duels throughout the Yu-Gi-Oh! Series, and Kaiba tends to lose within these duels. He tends to sacrifice himself sometimes to let Yugi go on to win the duel.
There's more than once?
Your attack switches to me. But Kaiba...
No, I'm getting spoiled. Why are you showing the full scene,
In
dude?
these
What?
cases, I've counted them as wins. So, just because Kaiba lost, he was defeated in that duel, because Yugi went on to finish the match and win, if it wasn't for Somersetto Kaiba's plays, that win wouldn't have been possible. So they count as wins, and that will apply to everybody else on the list as well. So, after all that, what was Kaiba's win-to-loss ratio? It was 75%. It's alright, I guess. I mean, it's better
That
than
sounds
most of
good.
the characters in the series, but 75%? It's so-so. Better than Yuma Tsukumo, anyway. Let's say that. Next up, Yu-Gi-Oh! GX and Chaz Princeton.
Time to rough them up, boys. Now go! Show 'em, boys.
I feel like Chaz is the one who loses Chaz loses. Wait, no. We're counting the duels against unnamed characters. Then Chaz won a lot, but he also lost the most against named characters. Okay, if it's against a named character, always bet against Chaz. If it's against some random character that is never gonna show up again, always bet for Chaz. I think that's how it is. Because Chaz is like he just destroys a lot of like unnamed characters. It's like I don't know. I found that so fun. I'm just now thinking about it. That's why these videos are so interesting, because I think about those stuff. Yeah, I know that that's different continuity. Seto Kaiba, yeah, Seto Kaiba, whatever. Do we count beating Yu-Gi-Oh monsters as named characters? I guess.
Chaz played a whopping 94 duels in the Yu-Gi-Oh! GX series. Out of those 94 duels, he had 73 wins, 12 losses, 4 draws, and 5 DNFs. Why
I bet like 8 of these losses are against named characters.
does Chaz have so many duels? Well, it's because he played 45 off-screen duels against
45 Oscar. See, that's what I'm talking about. Like, this makes absolutely no sense. Like, this makes like all the stats like trivial in a way. But like, there's no better way to do it, I guess.
North Academy students, and then went on to play a further 4. In fact, Chaz played a lot of off-screen duels that were mentioned, but he was like, yeah, I won them. So, fair play to him, man. So, out of all those duels, all those wins, all those losses, what was his win-loss ratio? Why, it was 85.88%.
This should be way lower. This should be way lower.
Which is better than Kaiba's. So, yeah, immediately, people will not like that, will they? Again, I'm not saying that Chaz Princeton could beat Kaiba in a duel.
I know.
Statistically, throughout his series, he did better. Next up,
I know, Chaz is one of my favorite characters, like, in general. It's probably my favorite character in GX. But, like, let's Yugioh, bye-bye. Oh, for context, Chaz never won against Jaden. Never won against that named character, dude. Seriously. No, actually, I think he beat, like, some named characters, but he mostly lost.
Yugioh 5Ds,
It'd be around 50% probably, honestly.
and Jack Atlas.
Who's the one master of faster? Who rules
Master
the
of
duels?
faster.
That's right, it's me.
Now, you thought Chaz's 94 duels was a lot. Jack Atlas played 184 duels, which I think might be the most amount of duels anyone has played. I think? Don't quote me on that, but 184 duels, holy hell. Out of those 184 duels, he won 172 times.
What?
He had 7 losses throughout the series, with 0 draws and 5 DNFs, which gives Jack Atlas a 96.09% win ratio.
Yeah, that doesn't sound correct.
That's incredible. I see why he was called king for a very long time. Yes.
I'm sorry, but this is all so wrong, dude.
96.09. It's incredible. Jack Atlas. I salute you, sir. Next, we move on to Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal Shark.
I guess my long journey has finally come to an end, Yuma.
Shark actually only played 32 duels throughout his series. However, out of those 32 duels, he had 25 wins. He also had 6 losses, 0 draws, and just 1 DNF. This gave Shark a very respectable 80.65% win ratio, which is pretty good. Next, we have Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5 with Declan Akaba.
We must use all our skills. From here on out, I won't hold back.
Won't hold back? So you've been holding back?
Perhaps.
Declan Akaba
Perhaps. That's so extra, dude.
only played 15 duels throughout his series, and for one of the most powerful duelists in his series, out of those 15 duels, he actually only won 9 of them. Which is
Wow.
still good, don't get me wrong, that's still a good percentage. He lost 3 of them, and he never got a draw, but he had 3 DNFs as well. So overall, he actually has the same win ratio as Kaiba, which is 75%. However, I will make one case for Declan Akaba. Somewhere in the series, it is stated that he played a bunch of different people off screen, but I just couldn't find where that was. It's referred to as multiple duelists, and I don't know how to quantify that. So
Why are we... okay, well, if you cannot quantify it, I guess it doesn't matter, but I don't know, that feels like that should make the 40 duels that Chaz had not count. That was a really good impression? I don't think so. I stole your your flow copyrighted Pendulum Monsters and made money of it. You broke Casper. Oh my god. Honestly, Declan Revolver didn't feel like rivals the way they were written, but Konami pairs them with the rest of rivals. I mean, if there is no one else, I guess it makes sense. Like after Kaiba never mentioned who Chaz lost, or Shark or Reiji. Yeah, no, that makes sense. I guess the Kaiba one required explanation. The other one's not that much.
I think he has more wins. He definitely has more wins. We could bump the 75% up to about 80%, I reckon. But overall, this is still pretty accurate, more or less. So, 75%. And finally, Yu-Gi-Oh! Reigns, we have Ryoken Kogami, also known as Revolver.
Wait, hold on. And that's the thing, he literally copyrighted Pendulum Monsters when Yuma made them and then started selling Pendulum Monsters. It was funny. Wait, did that actually happen? I thought you were talking about the mechanics of the of the game, of the DDD cards, not that he actually copyrighted the cards, or is that a joke? I don't know anymore. I don't know what's a joke anymore. What is Yu-Gi-Oh even? Yuji at least had Sawatari and Jack as options, but Konami always counts Declan. Okay.
Or Varys.
The Ignis will attempt to escape into Link Frames. Capture it and bring it to me immediately.
Revolver played 13 duels in his series. Out of those 13 duels, he only had 6 wins, which I was shocked to hear, by the way. I thought Revolver did a lot better than this. He had 3 losses, 3 draws, and 1 DNF.
But I bet if he dueled 40 unnamed characters, he would have won all 40 duels.
And the way this win-loss ratio is calculated is DNFs and draws, they don't affect the score. They effectively count as nothing. It's like the duels never even happened. So we basically just go off the wins and losses. And with these wins and losses, with 6 wins, 3 losses, I'm sure you can do the maths, but it's a 50% win-loss ratio. Yeah, it was never really stated that Revolver played many duels off screen or anything like that. He definitely did, and I definitely think that Revolver is one of the greatest duelists. But unfortunately, the stats from the series, they just didn't show, unfortunately, so 50% win-loss ratio. I'm sorry, man. So now that we've got the initial statistics out of the way, let's go into the final leaderboards to determine who is statistically the best main rival in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Series. Let's start with first the total amount of duels that a duelist played. I like to include this one because it shows that the characters are willing to risk their win-to-loss ratio, which I think is something to be respected. If someone just played one...
No, Chaz didn't risk anything! Then I started saying Pendulum was legal and now selling the cards. Oh, interesting. That sounds like a really interesting concept. I need to watch that, definitely.
One duel, won, and just like stop there and like I have a 100% win-loss ratio. Ha ha ha. I don't know. I think there's something to be appreciated about going out there and getting some duels. But in first place is Jack Atlas with 184 duels.
Yeah.
In second place is Chaz Princeton with 94 duels.
It's a huge
in third
difference.
Is Shark with 32 duels. In fourth is Kaiba with 28 duels. In fifth is Reggie Akaba with 15 duels. And in sixth place is Revolver with 13 duels. Those results speak for themselves, that makes sense. Next up we're going to go to is the win percentage. Who had the best win percentage score? Why, that was Jack Atlas with a 96.09% win ratio. Fantastic. The only character on this list to actually be in the 90%. And very close to 100, I must say. In second place is Chaz Princeton.
But Chaz should be last, dude. What is this?
In third is Shark with an 80.65% win ratio. In fourth is Kaiba with a 75% win ratio. In fifth is Reggie with a 75% win ratio. However, technically you could bump this up a little tiny bit if you wanted to, if you did a bit more research, but I think it's fair leaving him at 75 for now anyway. And in sixth place is Revolver with a 50% win ratio. What Revolver struggled with was not enough duels in his series, and he drew too many times. If he didn't draw against Yusaku 3 times, he might have had a better score. Oh well. So next up we have the duel score. The way this works is if a character got a win, they get 3 points. If a character got a draw, they get 1 point. If a character got a loss, they get nothing. The point of this is that it punishes people that had loads of duels but had loads of losses, and it rewards people that might have only had a few duels but most of them were wins. So who did the best in terms of duel score? Why, in first place it's Jack Atlas with an incredible 516 points. In second place was Chaz with 223. In third was Shark with 75 points. In fourth was Kaiba with 61 points. In fifth was Reggie Akaba with 27. And in sixth was Revolver with 21.
Isn't it
so with all these
like
stats out of the way, we've now
the same thing,
find out
basically?
who's statistically the best.
It's not the same, but it's basically the same. I
Here's
think
what the
Kaiba
scoring system
was...
looks like, and let's start in sixth
Change a
place,
little
shall
bit.
we? The final total and the sixth best main rival in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is Revolver with 6 points.
Wow.
In fifth is Reggie Akaba with 9 points.
Wow.
In fourth is Seto Kaiba with 12 points. In third with the bronze is Shark with 18 points. In second with the silver is Chaz Princeton. And in first place with the gold and a perfect score, it goes to Jack Atlas. Congratulations, Jack. Those
No
statistics do
way,
not lie. You
dude.
cannot argue with how well he has actually done there. That is really impressive. So, yeah, Jack Atlas.
I think Kaiba was like third in one of those in the win percentage, I think, but in everything else he was fourth.
according to this, is the best main rival in Yu-Gi-Oh! Guys, what do you think about this list, by the way? Do you agree? You're
No.
absolutely entitled to disagree. And if you can make a list better than this, I wholly encourage you to do that.
I
because
won't. I'm
there
sorry. I'm not strong
must
enough.
be a better way to judge characters in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game than just the amount of duels they had, the win percentage, and the duel score.
I mean, what I will do is not count like unnamed characters. That's the only thing that I would change. I know it still wouldn't make the best thing. Thank you, Vivi, for the raid. Thank you. Sorry, I know it's kinda loud, but thank you. Really appreciate it. Thank you for the raid. Welcome, everyone. We're about to finish this video, so let's keep up. But thank you. I really appreciate it. I hope you had a great stream. Pizza wins. I want pizza now.
The caliber of the duels that they had, you need to assign points to them. I think the best way you can do it is like, you play someone like Zark, you get 10 points for beating them. You
I also don't think that would make sense. I still think that wouldn't make sense.
play someone like Scud from the Dark Side of Dimensions, you get like 1 point. Because that's the caliber of duelists they are. They need like a ranking system attached to them. However, that's not unfortunately how dueling works. It's just all wins and losses at the moment. So that would be a better way. And as promised, I did say that my boy Zane and my boy Kite would have a quick little mention in this video. So just to let you all know, Zane Truesdale had 40 duels. He had 31 wins.
Okay.
He had 5 losses. However, he lost to various...
Yeah, he lost like to blackmailing, basically. I don't know. Like, he didn't lose for real.
duelists. It's never specified how many. He went on like a massive losing streak. So
Oh, that also is true. He also lost a lot of duels when he went in a losing streak in his professional career. But those are unnamed characters. We didn't see that.
when I say his percentage, we might have to just bump it down a little bit. He had 1 draw and 3 DNFs. With these stats, he got an 86.11% win ratio. However, if we factor in some off-screen losses, it might be more around 80%.
No, it
Whereas
should be
Kite-
way lower. If we count that, he went in a huge losing streak, if I remember correctly. So that if that counts, then it will be way lower.
Tenjo? Why, he only had 28 duels in his series, but out of those 28 duels, he had 19 wins, only 2 losses, 1 draw, but a whopping 6 DNFs. But luckily DNFs don't affect your score. So he had a 90.48% win ratio.
Huge.
Yeah, Kite was actually a better win percentage than Shark by a whole 10%. It's quite impressive. I hope you enjoyed this video. This was made for fun. Don't take it too seriously.
No, yeah, no, I get it.
Pull in-
I'm also complaining for fun. It's fun for me to complain. That's what I'm doing, okay?
stats off of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Wikia pages, putting them all together. I'd love to know, though, who you personally think, with your own biases and opinions, who you would personally rate as the best main rival in Yu-Gi-Oh! For me personally, not including all the stats, I would definitely say that Seto Kaiba is my number 1, then possibly followed by Revolver as my number 2. Chaz, I think, would probably be the bottom for me. But he did grow over time, so that's probably fair to say.
No, Chaz is my favorite, and I agree that he should be last. I don't even know the other guys. I just know that Chaz should be last to make it lore accurate.
But yeah, I'd love to know what you guys thought in the comment section below. Let me know in the comments. But other than that, thank you all for watching, and see you later.
Yeah, awesome. Really cool video. I want to see. I need to see people in the chat tell me what will be the way to make it fair. To me, the only thing that I will change is to not count unnamed characters. That makes no sense to me. I feel like those duels are not real. They don't count. So yeah. Thank you for recommending. As always, we're gonna react later to the best best Yu-Gi-Oh best friend, which is also weird, I guess. What is in this list? Joey, Cyrus, Crow. I don't know the name of the two guys. I know what they play, but and then what is the name of the guy? The fire guy. Yeah, the fire guy. That guy. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. We will see, I guess.